of value. I understand, I love maths, I love physics, by the way, actually do. Okay, but at the same time, if a student is not great in some other subjects apart from this and they are being looked down upon as a whole system, that's not a great thing to do. Why I say that theatre is also important, because it has taught me life lessons, and sometimes it's about the teachers that are taking that course. For somebody who theatre might not have done this much, they might look at it something which is okay as just an extracurricular activity. I look at it that we can take out life lessons from it, so I might design my course that way. An advice to a 15-year-old Prashant would be, just be present at every place you can be. Be present in your math class, be present in your sports period, playing football, playing basketball, badminton, kho, tennis, whatever you want. Be present in your theatre class, be present with your friends, be present.
Hi, I am Tanishq and I welcome you to the first ever episode of ENTERpreneu. I am an 18-year-old boy building a startup and I study at Tata School of Business. ENTERpreneu is a podcast channel focusing mainly on business, leadership, startups and entrepreneurship. It would bring out real world experts, real world business leaders and try to get the best insights from them. With this being said, let's start with the first podcast of ENTERpreneu. Guest is someone very special. He is an MBA from NMIMS Mumbai and a business manager at Tanishq. Not just that, he's worked at multiple ventures of Tata Sons. He is also working on a startup that is focusing on commercializing theatre in India, which being one of his biggest passion. He loves theatre more than anything. Not just that, he is also a phenomenal person and I know him personally very well. He is none other than Prashant Singh Tomar. Hi.
Hello.
So this is Prashant Singh Tomar and he is the business head at Titan currently and you have worked business manager at Titan and you have worked at multiple brothers ke Tata companies ke ventures ke. So basically, can you walk us through the starting and early days of your life?
Okay. So after MBA or?
Early days, wherever you want to start from. So
I'll just tell you about how I ended up in MBA so that the journey makes more sense to you. Ultimately, undergrad was done in mechanical engineering by choice. I did that by choice and ended up, and the 4 years I was performing theatres. And at that time I just wanted to try something new and venture into this new world. That's why theatre became my life at that point. Ultimately, towards the end of those 4 years, I realized that yes, it's a great thing. And I also got a fellowship from Government of India at that time, so I continued theatre for a year, working with the government. Post that COVID came, so I realized the things that I've learned in theatre, probably they can be brushed upon and maybe applied in a bigger world, a bigger problem or bigger things like that. I've always had this dream in my mind that I wanted to commercialize theatre in India, which we still are working on with one of my co-founders of Prava Theatre Group that we have. But apart from that, I went on to do an MBA. I did that from Narsi Munji, Mumbai, NMIMS. And post that, after the first year, TAS came on campus, Tata Administrative Services. It came on campus for the first time.
okay.
I made it through the process and got lucky enough to be a part of their great journey. And they gave us experience in 4 different companies in the very first year. So I was a part of Air India, then I went to Chroma, then I went to Titan, then I went to Tata Motors. Why I chose Titan was it was one of the brands that gave a plethora of sub brands that you could work for. The environment in the company.
And all these.
Yeah, so Titan has watches, it has jewelry, it has Titan Eye Plus,
Right.
it has Tanera, the sarees that we have. Then it also has fragrances. Now we are starting with bags. So many different brands. Well, the bag brand is called Earth. We are still starting with that venture. Of course, it's grown. Now we are starting the retail shops as well. So there were so many brands to work with. And of course, one of the mentors I found there. We keep on finding mentors everywhere, right? One of the mentors that I found, which actually have channelized the journey of my life, was Munish Chawla, who was also my reporting boss for some time. That told me that to start your journey with an area business manager role is going to make you learn things left, right, center. It's a hectic role, but at the same time, starting with a sales role or a business manager role, these things really build you up in the start of your career that you don't have to really later on struggle that how the business works on ground zero. That's why I ended up here.
Okay. So your journey has been quite exciting. I know you personally since you are my professor
Yeah.
at Mesa. So first you started off and you come from a army background
Correct.
with an army kind of a background. Then you went in mechanical engineering. So that's also somewhere aligning with the like army thing.
Makes sense.
And you became an engineer. Then suddenly कहीं से theater का angle आ जाता है and then you are also a business manager. What I can understand from your journey. So before we go to the theater, because once we start up with theater, we'll just be in the theater. Let's talk something about business.
Okay.
Now, in your journey with Air India, I guess the time you started your journey with Air India, that was the time when Air India had the demerger and
It was under the process of the merger, so they were not merged at that time.
Yeah.
I did my stint in the month of July, August, and September 23.
Right.
Yeah, so at that time the merger was in process, so it was not completely done.
Correct.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
And it was the time when Air India was bought back by Tata, and then there were two entities, Tata and Vistara, Air India and Vistara. फिर Air Asia भी था, and all these three were then merged into Air India.
So
and
Air
India
Asia is separate. We had Air India, of course. We have Vistara. Then our low-cost budgeted airlines, which is I forgot the name now.
Air India Express.
Air India Express.
Right.
Yes, Air India Express is there. So all the three and all we were trying to merge, but the first step in the ladder was to merge Vistara and Air India.
Now, the first thing is, let's talk something about aviation industry. I'm also very excited. To be honest, I just travel with Air India. I love traveling with Air India, and I'm not telling that because you have been a part of Air India. I can even show you my travel history, but
I see it out of the podcast.
yeah, definitely. And it's like I go to so extremities. If I have to take my flight from my hometown Hubli to say my maternal home is in Kolkata. So Hubli to Kolkata doesn't offer any direct flight from Air India. Rather, Hubli airport has only Indigo. But still, I take a train to Bangalore, and then from Bangalore I take a Air India flight. Because Indigo service, let's not talk on that, but
Okay.
still, after the Ahmedabad crash incident and even before, there were many complaints with Air India, right? How do you feel that should be dealt?
See, if I talk about the entire journey that Air India has had, first being with the Tatas, then being with the government, and then being back with the Tatas. So it has gone through so many ups and downs in the entire journey that coming back to a definite structure is going to take some time because it's a big organization with so many fleets and so many this, and we keep ordering new planes, so many people coming in, so many people being given VRS, volunteer retirement schemes and all. We need to understand there's a whole process that's being followed. The tragedy that you spoke about, of course, that's one setback for the Indian aviation industry for its entirely a setback, and we need to make sure that the things that came out of it are dealt in a way that no other plane tragedy for the same reasons can ever happen again, be it whoever's misalignment or whatever happened at that time. At the same time, I think Air India, when I saw it from the inside, I realized there are brilliant people on the job right now trying to make it not just great brand in India but great brand across the world. So that's the process going on. And of course, with Vistara and the fleets getting merged, the aim that the company has is to become not just a low-cost carrier but a carrier which is looked at a world standards. At the same time, we have a low-cost carrier, Air India Express, like you mentioned, right? Now we want to have a different offering than Indigo.
Right.
Okay, so Indigo has their offering. They are one of the biggest players in the market, right? I won't deny that fact. For instance, that I'll give you an example from any particular week. If you talk about, if 7 flights or 8 flights of Air India are flying from Ahmedabad, with that proportion, how many, according to you, will be flying of Indigo?
I guess 6, like at least 80%.
So if we have 7 flights of Air India as compared from Ahmedabad, we have 81 of Indigo.
Okay.
There's huge gap.
Okay.
They are in numbers, so they are a volume player.
Yeah, like I have been an avid traveler and my traveling was majorly with flights. So the major 2 destinations from where I used to take off was Bangalore and Mumbai. Now the pilots used to announce if I'm in Indigo, there are 8 planes in the queue, out of which 4 or 5 are of Indigo, 6 are of Indigo. So that was also a strategic tactic that they were using to show कि हम भी एक बड़े बहुत बड़े brand है. But when we talk about Air India, right, I have never had a bad experience with Air India. I don't know why it's shown such in the media.
Somewhere it is in the values also for the Tata Group, of course. We
Right,
have something called the Tata
definitely.
Code of Conduct, and there's a book we need to follow, and it's implied all across the Tata Group companies, no matter which company we're talking about. So that is there for sure.
Like, two examples I can give is we were flying from Kolkata to Mumbai,
Okay.
me and my dad, and it was my dad's birthday.
Mhm.
Like, we flew on 26th March night, 11:30 or so, and 12 o'clock. That's 27th March is his birthday, and that day we got good surprise from the cabin crew and everything. But we were in premium economy, so उस दिन वहाँ पे खीर था, and I don't eat खीर, so I asked the cabin crew if something can be done, and they got me a dessert from business class.
Wow.
This was not just like one incident I've seen. Recently, when I was coming from Mumbai to Bangalore, a lady had pre-booked, I guess, fruit bowl or whatever the fruit meal is there in this breakfast, and somehow it wasn't lifted. So the cabin crew made sure that it comes from the business class and she gets it.
Makes
So
sense.
that's what is great about Air India as a whole, right?
You're absolutely right. And internally also, when we used to have discussions, the customer perspective and customer focus. Of course, we have our entire CX department, customer experience department. They work day in and day out how to make the last, the last inch of customer experience touch point in the best possible way that we can provide to our valuable customers. So that happens all the time. So Air India experience was spectacular because I could see them working towards customer experience. I could see them working towards how to make the operations very lean, how to involve technology into the play. Everything that was being done there was to revolutionize the brand. Starting from, of course, launching the new logo and everything like that.
Wonderful, wonderful. And like the best part of Air India is it's just been once that I've paid for excess baggage.
Yeah.
To be honest, because
They wouldn't ask for
I've always
money.
checked in 25, 26 kgs,
They would
and
ask
the
for
crew
money.
has happily always checked it in.
Hmm.
Now let's move from Air India. But before that, I'll just ask one final question in the aviation industry. Air India Express has played with the debundling system. How do you think it worked for
The debundling of
services like you just pay for a hand carry, you don't pay for check-in baggage, so your cost is like little less, 1,000 rupees less, then you pay with check-in, then for this, like every service you want you have to pay for it.
okay. So for some customers, it's going to play out great because I told you it's a ultra low cost budget carrier.
Right.
Okay. So offering like these makes the airlines understand because sometimes, for example, I'll tell you about when I came here to take this class. I've come with just one bag, which is I don't know something.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's the only bag I'm carrying from Delhi.
Right.
Okay, I'll take that back. It has two of my clothes. Now I don't need a check-in luggage. So why can't I get the benefit of not having a check-in luggage? And then somebody might be carrying two. They need to understand that by offering and debundling the services like this, it's going to benefit the customers also in some way. Of course, some customers are going to be upset who used to carry 3-4 luggage at the same time. Now they are going to be the ones who might have to pay something extra, but at the same time, a lot of customers who are unnecessarily paying, their cost will be reduced too much.
Got it. Abhi, now we'll come to Titan.
Okay.
Titan is always known for watches.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, it is even known for specs and everything. Now, before we move on a lot, I want to ask you one simple question.
Yeah.
When Shark Tank India announced that Kunal Behel would be a new shark on the show, and he's the co-founder of Titan Capital, but what is it that Tata wala Titan? Yeah, of course, it's a different entity then. It's all a
It is
different
a
entity.
different entity.
But how do you feel when two companies with a similar name land up in the market? How does that delusional wall break to the normal people?
See, one thing I've realized after working in corporate that people don't mostly know which brand they are. So it's not their fault also because sometimes brand do not resonate with the kind of companies they are coming from.
Right.
Okay. So, for example, Chroma. Now the company's name is not Chroma. Company's name is Infinity Retail.
Correct.
It's a Tata subsidiary. Where you will find Chroma Tata product. Of course, the Tata Group or the Tata Sons, they charge every company for using that tagline. That is how the business world works. Titan is a Tata company, a Tata major shareholding, but a lot of it is with the Karnataka government. A major chunk, by the way, of Titan is with the Karnataka government. So these are separate entities owning separate business and separate ideologies. There is going to be a guiding force which we called the Tata Group or the Tata Code of Conduct or the Tata Values. But at the same time, we have to work at individual levels to make sure that all of this come together as one business. Now, when you're talking about that one Tata company doing something and the same venture or some other player of a competitor of mine might be sitting, and then one of our CEOs is going in the same program or something like that, I understand that how it might look to people or a layman that they are sitting with a competitor or something like this. First of all, we learn from our competitors. That's the ideology, not just me personally follow, but I think it's followed by the entire Tata Group. I went on a market visit with one of our MD CEOs, which is going to retire in December.
Oh.
His name is CK Venkatraman, sits out of Bangalore only. Now we went to all the different brands. In fact, there's a new brand that has come to the market called Indriya.
Okay.
Most of Titan companies' revenue comes from jewelry, by the way.
Okay.
It's not watches. 90% of our revenue comes from jewelry.
Oh.
Yeah,
Tanishq.
watches accumulate for less than 10%
I never knew.
of the entire
I
business.
never knew.
Yeah. So we went on a market visit on a competitor brand which Aditya Birla has come up. Its name is Indriya. Okay, it's a new jewelry retail brand in the market. 8 of those stores are in North. Now when he came, he just wanted to visit because he wanted to see how the new competitor or how a new player that has entered the market is performing, what kind of products they have and everything, so that we can understand. Now some CEO might say that, why should I go to a competitor brand? What if they see me there and then they advertise it that you are coming to our stores and everything? But he was so open to it. He just wanted to go talk to the people there. So there, as much as we see it as a competition, at the same time, there's a lot of learning opportunities that we just can't let go. You need to be close to your competitors. You need to be talking to them a lot of times. This happens in markets, or at least if not that, then have market visits to your competitors. Talk to them, understand what they are bringing. They might be bringing some very good people policy, for all we know, that we need to apply in a company so that employees can be happy, so that people can be happy.
Okay, now Taneria, Tanishq, Carrotly. These have been three of the ultra luxurious segments in Titan, I guess.
So we have 4 jewelry brands.
Okay.
We have Tanishq,
Right.
we have Carrotly, we have Mia, and we have Zoya.
Right.
Hmm.
All these 4, and I have been to all the 4 with my mother, but never interested, even after 5 minutes. So before we go to the jewelry, that part, there is one company which everyone of us know, Armani Exchange,
Okay.
which can be called as an affordable luxury today, as they give automatic watches in 25k, which any brand of a similar design would give in 15 to 20 lakhs. So they are, and Titan also has got similar designs, right? So how do you find the competition between such two brands? Does the brand value play a bigger role here, or quality play a bigger role?
To be honest, when you are charging a premium for a service, okay, you can charge it for 2 reasons.
Mhm.
One, your product is superior,
Mhm.
and the other might be your story is superior. Okay, so you need to understand, if let's say iPhone tomorrow starts charging 10,000 rupees extra for the new product that's coming to the market, people would think a lot. The story associated with the brand is so great, the product is so good that that surplus value won't sound like a lot. People will pay. But if you don't have such offerings and then you're charging a premium, you really need to step back and think, why am I charging the premium? What am I charging for? So if we talk about the competitive brands of Titan, whatever watches are coming from our side to the market, first of all, they undergo a great amount of research. From the design team to the product team to the branding team, all of them, they 3 verticals, they work together to understand what kind of products the market needs. Then make that product. We choose the vendors so that we can build that product in the cheapest form possible. By cheapest, we're not talking about quality, but cheapest, we're talking about the same kind of material which vendor can give us the best prices. First tenders go out, we get that material, we make that watch, and then decide what price it needs to be sold at. With us getting a profit also, at the same time, customer is paying for the right thing. Again, if there's a story associated with it, which is premium story, then yeah, customer will be ready to and happy to pay a premium, I think.
Got it. Now let's come to your current venture that you are at, Tanishq. You guys have changed the outlook to jewelry market.
Okay.
That can be clearly said. If you go to a traditional jewelry store, it was with those grills and one rich businessman sitting there with all those golden specs, everything, and he's just sitting there rubbing each and every ornament and showing. But Tanishq actually made it look very premium.
That revolution came during when the brand came to the market. It's more than 30 years since the brand has been in the market now. But our major revolution or breakthrough came with a carat meter. I don't know if you're aware of it. The carat meter is a machine inside every Tanishq store which tells you the actual caratage.
Yeah, I've seen that.
The actual caratage of your gold. Because earlier what used to happen was these local jewelers, like you mentioned, वो बैठते रहते थे सब कुछ अपना पहन के. आप जो उनसे सोना खरीद रहे हो उसकी वैल्यू एक्चुअली में क्या है यू नॉट नो बिकॉज यू डोंट हैव अ कैरेट मीटर एट योर होम टू जज दैट एंड वी वांटेड टू टेल दोज पीपल दैट यू आर बीइंग समटाइम्स फ्रॉडेड बाय दीज पीपल हु एग्जिस्ट इन द मार्केट.
आज की डेट में
हाँ
डायमंड्स के साथ हो रहा
they
है
are selling
डायमंड्स के
they are selling you probably let's say 18 carat and telling you that it's 22 carat. You will keep it for generations. Only later on when that person who sold it to you, he also passed away and everything has passed away, now you're realizing that that gold is not worth as much as you used to think. That's such a sad thing for all the people that exist. So that's why Tanishq came up with this revolutionary thing called a carat meter, and people could come inside the store, get their gold tested and ultimately find out the actual caratage. But there's one famous story I heard from our very own COMD, CK Venkatraman, that he told one of our leaders of the company was in a store where a female came inside the store. Now she saw that the purity of her gold was not as much as she used to think. That was told a lie to her by the local jeweler which sold that jewelry to her. And she started crying and she was walking out of the store. And our leader, he walked up to her and asked her, like, what is the problem? You at least found out that you're, you know, it's much better to know that the jewelry that you're holding is not that much of value. And she replied with something great, with later on became one of her policies, very famous policy in Titan, by the way. So she said that nobody wants to know cancer when there's no cure. Nobody wants to know they have cancer when there's no cure. So that's stuck with the leader, and that's how we came up with a program called GEP, General Exchange Policy. So whatever gold you have, no matter what purity is at, bring it to us. We'll check the purity. Based on what kind of purity you have, we'll give you a gold value back. You can buy actual good purity gold from us. And right now we are sitting in the biggest revolutionizing time for this policy, because only a few days back we brought a policy into the market which is being advertised by Sachin himself, and it is of how you can be a part in this great journey, save India, of importing golds from other countries, because you know we import 99% of our golds from outside. 99% every year of the utilization that we do in our country, we import it.
And we have such a bulk utilization that
We have 800 tons.
every Indian woman
800 tons every year.
wants gold like as an investment.
Converted into kgs, 80,000 kgs every year we consume.
And you're not talking about digi gold here.
No, just pure gold. And in entire Indian household, do you want to take a guess how much of gold we might have in Indian households today? So we have
I won't even be close.
we have 25,000 kilos. Sorry, 25,000 tons. Yeah, more like lakhs of kgs. So much so that even if we stop importing golds from the outside, this gold that is inside our houses can fulfill us for the next 30 years. So this policy that has come, that we'll have zero deductions. You bring us the gold up to 9 carat. 9 carat is the one which we identify as gold, because less than this it won't be identified as gold to purity. Beyond this, no matter what purity you get to us, we'll identify and give you the right price without any deductions, and you can buy new jewelry with that.
One thing I believe Tata has done right, and it is like earlier people used to say कि 24 carat का भी jewelry बन जाता है. But you got the ethics right कि 24 carat is so soft that it can't be molded into a jewelry. And that's when
You can have
even
gold coins of it, but jewelry won't make sense.
even local vendors started कि नहीं 24 carats में नहीं बनता.
You can't make.
Now Tata का समझ आ गया everything. Let's come to one more very interesting sector in business, FMCG. What do you feel is the scope, and what do you feel is going wrong?
Wrong to worry, but it's a highly competitive market, a least penetrable market, and everything. If you come up with a product, although like we discussed some time back, also switching costs are very low, loyalty is less, but it's a very competitive market in India right now. No matter which product you bring, till the time you don't have very strong backing, financial backing, story backing, product backing, superiority and everything, you won't be able to penetrate with these very hard and tough markets. So you need a lot of investment for that. FMCG is something that everybody wants to work in, but only when you enter inside the market you realize that there's a lot of challenges that you need to break through. the challenge of distributing a product to the last pin code that you want to, the challenges of having those people into place, which is going to identify what new markets we want to venture into, the product superiority, the cutting edge competition coming every single day, thin margins, and everything, inventory cost. There's so many aspects to it that our minds might lose interest into one of them, and then going to lose the game. So that is how much.
That was business what we spoke now. Theatre.
Hmm.
Your passion, your life, everything.
Yeah, too
Such
much.
that even being at such a great post in business, doing so good at such a young age, but even when you come to a business college, you are taking a course of theatre.
I would love to take a business course if they offer me. That's fine.
Definitely. But theatre, maybe we'll talk about both. What theatre actually is for you, and then what's the business also in theatre, because it's a huge market if we see actually.
So I'll answer both of those things. Good question though. Theatre actually, although there's been great theatre artists who have dedicated their entire lives to it, it's a very pure art form. It's almost like looking at things from other characters' perspective, living another life. That is what theatre for me is. And once you're on stage, you actually live those lives. So you know how we say that I'm Prashant, you are Ishan, and everybody. So now there's so many different people we meet every single day. What if for a day I can just leave my life behind and live a different character on stage and show people that for today I'm not myself, I'm somebody else. And those kind of things really impressed me. And that's why I wanted to venture into this field. When you talk about the business aspect of it, to be honest, earlier I never thought about it. It's only when I entered into this, I realized people don't earn money out of it. They do theatre, they keep on doing theatre for their 40 years of their journey, later on realize they could not even afford a 1 BHK house on rent sometimes. And that was the journey that used to look like. They were satisfied with it, that they lived a life of value, they loved that life, but financially there's no backing, there's not good backing in theatre. Unless you're talking about Nita Mukesh Ambani auditoriums, Prithvi Theatre, which have been able to commercialize this to some extent, but otherwise people don't earn a lot after theatre. And that's what we wanted to change. We wanted to revolutionize this part of it, that create a business model with my co-founder Weber, create a business model where people will come, create new age theatre and earn value out of it, earn money out of it, at the same time provided the audience also gains a lot, rather than those conventional theatres where the audience is very, for lack of a better word, orthodox, where they are used to watching the primitive scripts, they're used to watching the old scripts and same kind of plays being repeated and being adaptations made out of it. We want to bring some new age theatre into it so the audience also develops. The relatability factor increases with the new scripts and new plays. So that was the idea.
Do you believe in your business journey, your inclination, interest, and learnings from theatre has helped you a lot in marketing?
It has, no doubt. In fact, I can bet on my life with it that the reason why I'm doing any kind of success, if I don't know if I might consider success, is because I've gotten a good theatre background. It taught me life. I don't know how much of the classes are going for you for the theatre ones, but you might have noticed in my classes that it is about theatre, but I try to make it about life as well.
And fun as well.
How can we extract life lessons out of theatre?
This brings me to one interesting marketing story that I would discuss.
Yeah, please.
Like there are 3 types of ads. Some are exceptionally great, so good, so touching that people just remember it. One of the example would be Cadbury's ad, when KL Rahul and Surya Kumar Yadav thanked their first coaches through a voiceover in a public place. That was one touchy ad just before the World Cup, showing that you are thanking your teacher. And like teachers are one group of people whom we always forget to thank. Some ads are the worst ads. So terrible that you remember कि अच्छा ऐसा ad नहीं बनाना है. This is an ad I would not like to see. Some ads are shown again and again so that you remember. Which campaign do you feel is the best ad?
So you started with Cadbury, so I'll talk about them first. When Cadbury came to India, so they did not try to sell themselves to everybody. They tried to sell themselves to children, right? Kids. And they did that because when you try to sell to everyone, you end up selling to no one.
Right.
That is a basic policy. Same happened with instant noodles when Maggie came to India. So they, till 1992, if I'm not wrong, they did not venture into any other demography then kids. It's only in 1992 they took out their first ad when they ventured into the market of couples, Cadbury. And they had this very brilliant ad where the guy was playing cricket and all of a sudden he hits a six and the girlfriend starts running in the stadium towards him, and that was a Cadbury ad celebrating love. It's only till very late they started venturing into the market of sweets. That sweets are a tradition in India to be had after dinner. So they all put in Amitabh Bachchan for the ad, Kuch Meetha Ho Jaye campaign, and things like these. When you start understanding that how a brand is built and how the journey has been, you can't just try to have a big campaign or a big product with targeting everybody at the same time, creating the best ads and everything. You need to strategize things. That first step is this. When I capitalize this market, then I move on to the next one, and then the next one, then and so on and on and on. You can't hit a big six on the first ball and then on the second ball, the third ball. That is thoda sa impractical, and it requires a huge form of investment as well. Coming back, if I talk about the kind of campaigns that I like, the ones that are either when you're talking about a particular product, let's say, or the service, it should give clarity of the service or the product in a way that it sounds like good storytelling. For example, Fevikwik's ad, they were short, simple ads. A man coming, puts, there's a man who's fishing, right? Now another man comes who just puts 5 drawers of Fevikwik. There's no single dialogue in the entire ad. Puts it inside water and brings it out. It's an exaggeration of the idea.
The hockey
but
thing.
just but just clears the concept that it's Fevikwik, right?
Right.
So Pidilite has come with these campaigns, beautiful ones, and requires what in money investment this ad can be made without even a lakh of rupees. And then we have made campaigns which have costed like crores of rupees and at the same time has not done any good. So you need to strategize the kind of campaigns you want to make rather than the budget. We need to go in the core concept and the idea we stand for.
Now the final part of the podcast.
Yes, please.
Where we met and where everything takes place.
Yes, please.
Massaw School of Business.
Yeah.
So what's the journey like being in this new gen?
I love your
college?
campus. I really like your campus. I started coming here for not your batch, but for the postgraduate batch when I used to teach them communication skills. And that was a great part, great going for me. And I thought that this is something I want to venture into later on in my life when I actually try to tell people how we can utilize this skill set and use it in every form of their life. It's only when your people here who manage the course, they offered me a theatre course here. I was very excited about it always, and I realized that yes, the theatre course for an undergrad college is going to. I've done so many workshops before, but as a course as a whole, I think no other college does it, and that to the first year of the undergrad. It creates a brilliant kind of energy, I won't lie to you, and it gives a lot of respect for the college. The idea they stand for, they're experimenting, and there's nothing but, even if an experiment goes wrong, it will still be a success because it was an experiment. That is the philosophy I stand by. MESA is doing so many things in your undergrad level that a lot of colleges are not able to do till postgrad also.
Yeah,
I think I ended up in a great place and I have a huge respect for the college.
So when you say communication, how important is communication for a business?
Everything, Ishan. Like starting from a one-to-one interaction with a person that we might be having right now, to speaking in front of 1,000 people, to leading a whole company, to just talking to your mother at home. Communication is going to, it's not just English language, it's not just the kind of pauses I'm using, it's not just the thoughts, how are they coming out as words from my mouth. It is everything. How a person carries themselves and how they read the room, when to say what and how to say those things in a manner that it creates the most impact. That is what communication is. And contrary to a popular belief, communication is not just talking, it's how you can listen to people and build up conversations. So listening is a great part of communication. So of course I can't give the entire course here, but at the same time what you are asking, the answer to that is it's everything.
So now finally when we drop off, 2 answers without any follow.
Yes, please.
The first one would be an advice to a 15 or 16-year-old Prashant and the whole of hungry India waiting for the opportunities in front of them, the students and the budding people. And second thing, an advice to schools, why theatre is important apart from academics.
See, I'll be very selfish if I say theatre is the most important thing. It's not. Okay. The most important thing is to make a student learn. no matter what medium you use, no matter what ways you use, what subjects you use, the student should learn something of value. I understand, I love maths, I love physics, by the way, actually do. Okay, but at the same time, if a student is not great in some other subjects apart from this and they are being looked down upon as a whole system, that's not a great thing to do. Why I say that theater is also important, because it has taught me life lessons, and sometimes it's about the teachers that are taking that course. For somebody who theater might not have done this much, they might look at it something which is okay in life, as just an extracurricular activity. I look at it that we can take out life lessons from it, so I might design my course that way. An advice to a 15-year-old Prashant would be, just be present at every place you can be. Be present in your maths class, be present in your sports period, playing football, playing basketball, badminton, kho, tennis, whatever you want. Be present in your theater class, be present with your friends, be present when they go out to party. Just be present as many places as you can be. Because if just by being present at those places, you'll understand more about life than you can learn in any kind of or any form of education that can ever be provided. And the more you devoid yourself of these places, of the places that you could have been present with, you are cutting down on the value systems and learnings that you could have acquired over the years and years of journey. So that's an advice. And for whole of India, you just chill, enjoy for some time. Don't take life too seriously. Nobody gets out of it alive. So yeah, have fun, and thank you so much for the podcast, Ishan. I love the experience.
Thank you.